To solve the perplexing mysteries, Lomnitz and his colleagues searched directly beneath their feet.
Mexico City has a rather unusual location for a large city.
700 years ago, what today is Mexico City was a lake. The Aztecs built their capital city, Tenochtitlan, on an island in the middle of the lake. It was a massive complex of canals and causeways, with a structure as complex as any European city at the time. When the Spanish conquistadors captured and totally destroyed Tenochtitlan, they filled in the lake and constructed their own city directly on top of it. Centuries later, this turned out to be a very bad idea.
The sedimentary layer on which the downtown area is built is a layer of very soft clay. It's practically a jelly. It's almost water.
This ancient lake bed holds the key to the earthquake's strangely selective damage patterns.
Over the first 3 days after the earthquake, we realized that severe damage, structural damage, had only occurred on the former lake area.
The layer of soft lake bed was not just unstable, it acted like a seismic amplifier, trapping seismic waves and actually boosting their strength. Just like jelly will keep wobbling long after you shake it, the layer of mud under Mexico City continued to shake for 4 minutes after the earthquake.
This is the major cause of the disaster.
But that didn't solve the mystery of why buildings between 6 and 15 stories suffered the most damage. The answer came in the form of another destructive combination of seismic waves and loose sediments, a phenomenon known as resonance.
Every object has a certain frequency that makes it resonate.
If a singer hits the right note, they can shatter a glass just by subjecting it to its unique resonant frequency. Even a large object like a high-rise building can resonate. Depending on its size and structure, there is one energy frequency that will make it vibrate. By incredibly bad luck, the seismic waves trapped and amplified by the layer of mud under Mexico City were exactly the right frequency to make 6 to 15-story buildings resonate. The buildings began to vibrate, shaking themselves to pieces. Others smashed into their neighbors like battering rams. These freak circumstances doomed Mexico City. Many important facilities such as hospitals and schools were in the fatal size range singled out by the earthquake's fury. The Mexico City quake was a tragic example of the dangers of building on soft or reclaimed land. The unstable soils amplified the quake's effects and unleashed complex and deadly patterns of resonance. Today, buildings cannot be constructed on the unstable lakebed. Building codes and civil emergency plans are enforced to help prevent future disaster. The people of Mexico City know they're at risk from earthquakes, but millions of others live in striking distance of rare, mysterious quakes and don't even know it. And we're moving closer to an even bigger quake, a potential scenario that will combine liquefaction, fire, and other deadly side effects in a brutal mega disaster. San Francisco and Mexico City both fell victim to earthquakes spawned by the volatile boundaries between tectonic plates. Half the world's large cities are within striking distance of major faults like this, but the other half are not necessarily out of danger. There is a totally different type of earthquake. These rare rogue events strike seemingly from nowhere, ravaging areas thought to be immune to earthquakes. January 26 is India's Independence Day. But in 2001, the celebrations are forgotten when a massive earthquake strikes the western province of Gujarat. The 7.7 quake destroys the historic city of Bhuj, along with many other nearby towns and cities. 20,000 people are killed and 1 million homes lost or damaged. 200 villages are wiped from the map. Paul Bowden is a Memphis, Tennessee-based seismologist who traveled to India to study the quake.
What we saw was an immense amount of devastation. The human toll was incredible. It was a horrible place to actually be doing the work that we had to do.
For scientists like Bowden, the most stunning aspect of the quake is not the scale of the damage, but the fact that it occurred at all. According to the theory of plate tectonics, this earthquake should not have happened. Central Asia is no stranger to deadly quakes. Over 1 billion people live close to a massive tectonic collision as the Indian plate plows head-on into the rest of Asia. The Himalayas, the largest continental mountain range on Earth, are the crumpled wreckage of this collision. This volatile plate boundary has spawned numerous deadly earthquakes. The 2005 Kashmir quake killed almost 80,000 people in Pakistan and northern India. It was magnitude 7.6, not huge, but powerful enough to flatten hundreds of thousands of buildings. But Bhuj is 200 kilometers away from the dangerous Himalayan plate boundary. Large earthquakes shouldn't happen here.
But there's these rogue 5% that happen away from plate boundaries. And we don't have a very good understanding of what drives these kind of earthquakes.
These mysterious rogue disasters are called intraplate quakes. The 2001 Bhuj earthquake was an important opportunity to study one of these rare events. But Bowden and his team had a more urgent reason to travel from Memphis to India. The largest intraplate earthquakes in history happened right in their own backyard. In the winter of late 1811 and early 1812, the Midwest of the United States was torn apart by a swarm of massive earthquakes. They were probably bigger than any quake to hit California and are named after an ordinary town with an extraordinary secret, New Madrid. The magnitude of each can only be estimated since seismic recording instruments didn't exist, but there is no doubt they were huge. The first, estimated at magnitude 8, hits on the 16th of December, 1811. Houses and buildings are torn apart, entire forests are wiped out. Enormous cracks split and tear the earth. The placid Mississippi becomes a raging torrent of rapids and waterfalls. But this was only the beginning. A month later, another giant quake, estimated at magnitude 8, tears the frontier town of New Madrid, Missouri, to pieces. 2 weeks after that, a third magnitude 8 quake strikes. Over the next 2 months, almost 2,000 smaller tremors strike. The effects are felt throughout the entire eastern half of the United States.